Well, good day and welcome to SOP, Save Our Planet. My name is Gary Willing and I hope you are having a wonderful day wherever you happen to be. Now, I always encourage you to do two things at the beginning of each and every one of these videos. The first thing is, if you want to know more about this information, look into it, investigate it for yourself. If you want to see if this information is true for you, do the same thing. If you go to the Share International site, there's a link in the description portion of this video. It's actually at the very top. That website will give you the best background information about Maitreya. So check it out. The information is useful and it's also free. The second thing I'm hoping that you do is join the discussion. If you have a question you want to ask me, post your question in the comment section or feel free to email me, search for signs@mail.com, and then I'll try to answer it in another video, or you can simply let me know what you think by posting a comment. All right. I had a couple questions that were coming from a video that I put up about the master Jupiter. Okay, now this particular master was one of the masters that the Master DK described in the book Initiation, Human and Solar. I did a series of maybe a handful of videos where I put up an AI image of what this master might look like based on the description of them in the book Initiation, Human and Solar, and then I also talked about the work and activity, and I just basically quoted that book. Okay, so there wasn't much to it other than that. There were two masters that I did videos for that were not in that book because they were not talked about in that book. The master who was the Madonna, and I talked about that particular master based on what Benjamin Creme said about the master who was the Madonna. And then Benjamin Creme's own master, who was not referred to in the book Initiation, Human and Solar. So, but this particular master was one of the masters that when described, said there wasn't a lot that they could really talk about. But he did refer to him as the regent of India. So what is a regent? A regent, if you didn't know, was a person who filled in for the king or the monarch because the king or the monarch could not run the country for some reason. And the three reasons that really kind of come up, one is the monarch left the kingdom to go to another kingdom to do something, whether it was to start a war or to create some kind of trade agreement between two kingdoms or something like that. The king was incapacitated because the king maybe had a stroke or was dying and couldn't run the country well enough until the next king was ready to take his place. So they would have a regent fill in for that role for that time. And then the other one, which is probably more the reason why they refer to this particular master and maybe some other masters as regents, is because the king or the monarch was too young and couldn't run the country effectively because they were an infant or a toddler, right? And until they became mature enough to run the country on their own, they had to have somebody do it for them. And that's the reason why he refers to this particular master as a regent. We will eventually, as a humanity, do a lot of what these masters are doing for us now. One of the roles that they do is they transmit energy all the time, moment to moment, all around the world. We receive energies from higher sources, whether it's the sun or other planets that are a higher level of evolution than our planet, and they take that energy and they use it and they stimulate humanity and so forth and so forth, and they do it all the time. We're totally ignorant of the fact that they're doing this. The other thing that they do is some of these masters' roles is to guide the destiny of whether it's one nation or a group of nations to keep it on track until we're able to do it ourselves. We don't even know that a nation has a soul and a personality, just as a person does. We don't even know what the true purpose of a nation is. So how could we keep it on track? You know what I'm saying? And then we can't agree on anything anyway, so what does it matter? But these masters kind of do that in their own way. They'll stimulate a group of people, whether it's a nation or a group of nations, to kind of keep it in track and keep it going. And then, okay, well, it's moving a little bit in the right direction, or maybe it's going in a different direction, and they have to kind of steer it in a better direction. Do you see what I'm saying? And this particular master has quite a difficult task because his job is to get India out of the chaotic state that it is in, and it's in a very chaotic state, and move it into a more peaceful way of living. He even used the word in that same video as welding the different groups of people, because there's so many diverse groups of people, whether it's economic diversity or religious diversity. A lot of them speak different languages. But the nation has a purpose, and the nation's purpose is for those people of that country to be more unified. It would be one of them. But you asked the question, how many regions are there? I don't know. But most of those masters who are regents for a country is more of a country. They're not necessarily a regent for just one particular country because there are not enough masters to do that. They're more of a regent of a certain area. And the reason why this one is just for India is because, like I said, there's a lot of people in India. Now, you asked a question, is there one here in the U.S.? If I had to guess, it would be the Master Rakuzi, who was, in a previous incarnation, 3 people that I know of, Roger Bacon, Francis Bacon, and his previous incarnation before he became a master was Saint Germain, which a lot of people from the Ascended Masters groups, they refer to him as the Ascended Master Saint Germain. But the Masters of Wisdom refer to this particular master by his official name, which is the Master Rakuzi. And it was said in that same book, Initiation Human and Solar, that he is responsible for North America and Europe. But he didn't refer to him as a regent in that way, but he is the regent for that area. He's in control of that area and the destiny of those nations in that area. So hopefully that answers that question. It was a wonderful question. I wish I had a better answer for you. I love you guys. Thank you very much for listening. Thanks for the question. And I look forward to putting up videos in the near future. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Remember to take action and help SOP save our planet. Thanks for listening, and we look forward to talking to you again in future videos.